This video is for my friends, LPC grads, who didn't manage to qualify via training contract and now have a possibility to qualify via either QTS, OSCE or SQE. I myself am an LPC grad who did qualify via one of those examinations, in particular QTS OSCE exam. So my message to you: it is absolutely possible to qualify via this examination. You have a big advantage. You also have an exemption for those who are foreign qualified as well. So you have an exemption from MCT test, but you have to clear the second exam, which is called QTS OSCE, this year, 2021. Otherwise, it's not going to be extended for other years and you would have to go through SQE. I will attach to this video some reference to other videos which can help you with the guidance, because there are very tight deadlines. And you LPC grads who are basically domestic applicants, now you have a possibility finally to qualify without any training contract, so you can do it via a new upcoming solicitor qualifying examination. Similar to LPC grads who are foreign qualified and qualify via qualified lawyer transfer scheme. It's a transfer scheme, so you have to be qualified in one of the listed jurisdictions. So similar to them, you may be entitled to exemptions from SQE, in particular from SQE1 and maybe even some parts of SQE2. SQE1 is a multiple choice question on the same areas of law which you covered during LLB or GDL and LPC, so it covers all of those. That is the first thing to consider, an exemption. It's a bit grey area, but SRA promised to release some guidance as to exemptions, and I promised to make another video with the specific explanations. So I myself, being an LPC grad from Nottingham Law School, which is one of the best law schools in the UK, they apply a similar system as BPP and many other universities. We had closed books exams, so this is my background. I managed to qualify via QTS OSCE, as well as other LPC grads have been exempt from the first stage, which is called MCT. This exam and SQE exam very similar. They actually tested the new upcoming SQE for over 10 years on foreign qualified lawyers, which is fair enough. It's a very good exam and you have a big advantage compared to many other candidates, especially taking into account that many of you already have a lot of practical legal experience. I know that some paralegals actually have much more advanced knowledge against legal trainees, as per feedback provided by my colleagues, solicitors. So we made a course which has been in existence for over 3 years, and we specifically focus on the second part of those assessments, which is skills-based. So we have a big simulator and everything is made on the simulation and mock stations with individual feedback, which I think is a key point in order to prepare to this second very difficult skills-based simulation. So in this video I will try to provide you with some guidance, because we received lots of questions regarding differences between LPC and SQE2 or QTS OSCE. Again, why SQE2? Because you might be entitled to an exemption from SQE1. It is essential to keep in mind that there's a big difference from one LPC to another. So what sort of LPC provider you use, you should sort of adjust a bit of my guidance to your background. Secondly, it also depends on how much time passed since you cleared your LPC. In general terms, if it's about 8 years, maybe you would have to undergo more serious reading and preparation. So, as you may understand, SQE and QLTS are very similar examinations. In fact, QLTS was sort of a test drive. There's a bit of difference, but it's basically an improvement, and also they limited certain assessments just in order to make the overall assessment a bit cheaper. So don't worry, it's very similar. And we have quite extensive expertise, so it's not only my personal experience, it's also over 3 years of tutoring exactly for the same skills-based assessment. So LPC and SQE, two main differences. A, law. B, skills. So we will start with the skills. First of all, the standard of the skills is quite different. In the LPC, we had a standard of trainee solicitor, so you can go to your law firm, you know basics about emails, you know basics about legal research, you know a bit about client interview, but this is all of the level of a newly qualified. It means you have to learn during 2 years and sit some other assessments as a part of this training. In case with the QLTS, OSCE or SQE2, it's a final exam for the both exams. So the standard of the skills of all the newly qualified solicitors. There's some guidance which was provided by SRA. We will now switch to SRA page, and I'll shortly show you for the reading and guidance this web page as to the levels which they consider to be appropriate for the qualification to reach the particular threshold. So let's have a look. So as to the threshold of knowledge and skills, this all is provided by SRA in so-called Statement of Solicitor's Competence. It consists out of the threshold standard for the skills, and it consists of Statement of Solicitor's Knowledge, Statement of Knowledge. So we will briefly consider both of that very quickly, but you can have a look at that in your own time. There are 5 levels. That one which is required in order to meet the criteria for newly qualified solicitor is level number 3. It's here highlighted. So level number 1, sort of LPC stage. They do not say it explicitly, but I think so. So if you have a look at level number 3 in all 6 main criteria which they provide. The criteria are functional knowledge, standard of work, autonomy, complexity, etc. Again, have a look in your own time. So in all of those, you sort of reach this level number 3 standard. That would be something which they expect for you to reach in order to be admitted to the role of solicitors. Also, it's important to mention that this is reflected in the marking criteria and the marks. So they have A, B, C, D, E, similar to what you had before, so you should be aware. A is 100, B is 80, C is 60, 40, 20, similar, right? There's no requirement that you have to reach the threshold within all the assessments. As you know, in SQE2 or QLTS OSCE, there are many assessments: writing, drafting, research, oral presentation for QLTS OSCE. We don't have it for SQE, similar. So interview and advocacy. So in all of those, there's no requirement that you have to reach the threshold, but your overall mark should be within this threshold. Same if you lose some marks on some elements of the assessment, you can gain more on the skills in other elements of the assessment. There's neither a requirement that you have to pass all the areas of law in a similar way. So again, what matters is overall mark. Overall mark also is assessed between mark on skills and mark on the law. So a combination. Eventually you come up with one particular mark which you gain during the whole assessment, like let's say 77, 82, 87. I hope you have only good marks. I had 80 in my second assessment when I passed it, and I could get more. I haven't been trained. Now I might know much more about the exam, about the training and everything. Our students gain in average 76, 77 something, and many people score 80. And so all is possible, my friends, and it's very important to have good marks for your future employability. So the next question, which we have been asked by LPC grads who either sit QLTS, OSCE or SQE2 assessment or plan to sit, to which extent you have to revise the substantive law. And secondly, was LPC standard of knowledge enough in a sense of practice areas like business, property, probate, civil litigation, criminal litigation, enough as against the assessments, and also to which extent you can employ your knowledge from electives or maybe your practical experience.